Hello my friends and welcome back to Oscar's Cozy Corner, and welcome back to another decorating video for you. 2 in 1 week, I must be treating you, but today we're going to be working in the plaza. As you can see behind me, I finally gotten around to do a build with that springtime / cherry blossom plaza kit that we got from the premium shop a couple of weeks ago. That seasonal bundle has come around, so it should see me through the rest of spring. I love this. I love how pink it is. I love everything going on with these colors. So we're going to do a nice, relaxing, but also very pretty and very, very pink build up in the plaza today. So join me as we go through this build in real time. It will be a long one, but I know that many of you do enjoy these. I certainly hope you enjoy this one. If you do, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So let's just get straight into it and let's do this nice, cozy long play. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I have a nice blank canvas up here in my plaza, stripped everything out, so I'm starting from a clean slate. But the first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and replace all of the items in the plaza to this cherry blossom bundle that we got in the premium shop. I love the pink color of this. I just think it looks so good. It is one of my favorites so far. We'll have to see if they outdo themselves, but if they continue to do so, I don't know whether I might ever change this one, but I definitely will. Let's grab Scrooge's and Remy's as well. I'm just going to change those over to, we've obviously got 5 of these right now, which is actually quite a lot considering we got some with the DLCs. So let's make sure that those are nice and pink to make the boys wink, as they do say. Just looking at this straight off the bat, I do wish, and I said this at the time when it came out, I do wish we got these lanterns, and I would have loved some foliage as well in that pink color. But we're just going to do our best. We're going to work with what we have. The one thing in the plaza that I always kind of struggle with, just a little tiny bit, is that Remy's and Scrooge's are very different sizes. Scrooge's has a lot of depth to it, and Remy's doesn't, so you do have to accommodate for that sometimes. But I'm thinking maybe, possibly, I might use a little bit more space at the back and bring these items forward for now. Because quite often when I decorate my plaza, I have Scrooge's and I have Remy's sat in these 2 inlets, I guess, if you will, each side of the plaza. I did that with my winter one. They were each side of this. But because I always do that, I'm kind of half feeling like I want to try something a little different, so maybe bringing them out and having them as the, I guess maybe like some sort of centerpiece on the edges or the corner of the plaza. I'm just not sure yet quite where the placement will be. But because these are the biggest structures, I should probably try and get these done first. It is a shame we don't get daisies or anything like that in this theme. I appreciate that it would be probably quite a lot of work to make everything in these seasonal bundles, but yeah, it is sometimes the case that I would like some of the other buildings in this style as well, just to make sure that it all fits together. But we work with what we've got. The other thing that I'm thinking of possibly doing is bringing in some water. So the river kit, of course, is very handy. If we take a look, I know that we've got some big pieces, so it just means that the item limit is less. So I think that one is, oh, we've got the oh, what was that? I was just about to say we've got the large one, but the large one is not large. I believe that is the biggest one that we have. That one's slightly smaller, yeah. So I was thinking I could possibly have these 2 sections as big water areas for this. The only downside of doing that is if the buildings are, let's say, here and here, where I was considering putting them, I guess you just kind of lose that water effect, maybe a little bit. So the other option could be having the water sit almost in the front instead, and we walk over it or through it, or however that ends up looking. That could work. I mean, we could even... The river kit is quite finicky to use because it does feel like Tetris sometimes, so it does feel like you're just trying to fit things in and make it work. But what I'm thinking is, if I reset those filters, the Edwardian iron fence. I mean, they're calling it a barrier here, but the iron fence, what I love about this is it goes right up against that water. So you can have the water now as kind of like a self-contained, I guess, body rather than having the edge on it from the river kit, which I do think is a really nice touch. So I'm wondering if we do that in some capacity. And then there's a little bit of water out the front, and then maybe we just do some foliage out the back with a path that comes around. I wonder if there's some way for us to get these greenhouses in as well, because they are pink toned. So they do have pink within this greenhouse. So I might put some of those down as well. But again, it's kind of the same issue. I mean, it's not a huge issue to have these out front, even though they are quite big. I'm just thinking you might lose some of it behind it. And obviously you've got a big building right in the center. But I think maybe if we put some trees around this and we fill it out with some foliage, obviously we've got the cherry blossom trees as well. So all of that works. So we could kind of like fill it out and then maybe fill some out in the back. So my concept would be trees and foliage in this area, and then trees and foliage maybe in this area and this area, and then it doesn't feel super crowded. I think that could possibly work. So going back to the water so I can actually come up with something for that, I was also toying whether to have the water continue to run down each side. So if I pick one of these again, let's just try this one because it's slightly longer. Might be able to have the actual water maybe just run all the way to the end, but then I would need a break in it. So I would probably have to find somewhere to put that break so we could walk over it. But then I fear that that might be too squished in that little space. So, I mean, we could always do something like that. Let's just play around. What I do want to do to make sure that it would fit is I think I need 2 squares free because of those wrought iron edges. So I think starting off maybe with having these and just making sure they go as close as they can to the edges of the biome, that's probably a great starting point. So if I bring it all the way across, I can see it fits on this side, which is really nice. The only thing that I think is I believe this right-hand side fits better than the left. So I'm going to have to move these up for now. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to duplicate it and I'm going to bring it across in line. And you'll see that I'm already hitting that there, but I can have it there. So I actually need to bring that back up to around there. And then I think we should be good to go. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I believe it was just about there. And then we can do something like that because I do want this in the corner. So I'm going to move that across. I'm going to make sure that I can fit that in just like that. And that gives me where that needs to sit then. So I know that that can sit just inside that for us to have it self-contained, which is perfect. So I'm going to go off that now. So I'm going to come here. And I wasn't a million miles away by the look of it. Just maybe we do... I'm trying to work out where I want the crossover or the bridge over this water. And I'm thinking I do want it a bit further down. So I'm just going to jump back in and find that river kit again. I should really place all... Actually, that's a great idea, Oscar. Let me go ahead and just place all of the pieces down so I can quickly duplicate them if I need to. So I'll just place all the different sizes. Actually, I already have that one. So this one, already have that one, and that one. And I think this might actually be the one that I'm looking for. Actually, I can just replace that for the slightly larger one, can't I? And then I'm using one less item, which is always nice. So let's go with this one. Pop that in there. Maybe I even do it. No, I think the gap or the quote unquote bridge should be about here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to make that probably, I think maybe that's, yeah, I'll do it the width of that. So I'll do it the width of those 4. So then I can just delete that. And then I've got my crossing, for lack of a better term. Well, until I just completely remove it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of these. And I'm just going to place those on each edge so I know where the corner is. And I don't think I can fit this one in. So I'm just going to grab this one for now. And then see how far, I guess, I can get across there. I think we might even be able to fit some of these smaller ones in, even if it's just one. Yeah, I quite like that, actually. And then I can just decide where this greenhouse will end up going, whether it'll sort of be here or over in this corner. We had some foliage or something over there. I think that could be really nice. So stick with me. For now, it will come together. I'm just going to do exactly the same thing on this side. So we just replicate it exactly. Bring this one in. Bring this one in. I can get rid of these now because I no longer need them. And then I know that it was, what was it? Just one of those extra. One more. And then the little pieces. So 1, 2. And then I think that might have to be on this side. I don't think I'm gonna, well, I can fit it without using an end piece. And actually I might not be able to fit it without using an end piece over here. So I'm gonna sit with that just for now. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. And then I'm gonna get rid of, what was it, that one? So we have some nice symmetry going on. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab a quick path. Actually, first, let me just double check where this is aligned. So I want that really as close as I can kind of get it, but a little bit further back. So it's almost in the middle. Or just, actually, no, we'll have it in the middle. Can we get that to line up? That, I believe, is going to be close enough. So then because these are different sizes, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place a piece of path. I'm just going to run it all the way across. And actually that already does exactly what I wanted it to do. I was going to line up this corner with this corner, so they might not start in the same place on the edge or the corner of this plaza square. But I wanted them to end in the same place, so they're kind of aligned, but actually it already does, which is perfect. Nothing more I need to do with that, so I'm going to get rid of that path. And then I'm going to save it. Still having decorating issues, unfortunately, so I will be right back. And a prime example of those decorating issues. I just came out of furniture mode, and it has completely deleted everything we've done so far, reverted everything, buildings are back up there, and now it's raining, which... what a joy. What a joy. So I'm just going to go ahead and redo this super quickly. Apologies, I will be right back. All right, so I've redone what we had, and you'll see that I've also put the small fences around the edges, just because that takes forever, and it was quicker for me to do it while I was rebuilding everything else, but I have left a couple of gaps so I can explain to you what I've done. So some of these corner pieces, they don't actually fit properly because they are only 1 tile wide, whereas all of these are 2 tile wide. So what I've done is I've just created small little squares to actually make a heart shape. And you can see I've run out of pieces now, but that's okay. I've made a heart shape on 4 sides. So I've done that over here in this little section. And then I've also done that on the edges, but I haven't made the squares yet. So I'm not sure if I'm going to. I've used the end stoppers here instead. But I might actually do the square on every side, possibly, apart from this one. But I'm not 100% sure yet, because obviously we've got it just like this. Actually, maybe I just have the squares I'm talking myself out of it. Maybe we just have the squares on the inner corners where it doesn't quite work, and then everything else can just be that single. So eventually I will jump into Scrooge and I will buy some more of these edge pieces, but I do want to move on for now. So you can see here, if I zoom out, we've got that waterway system that I was kind of thinking of or going for, and then we can do a little path around the side, and then we can have a bridge or some sort of bridge effect coming over the water, and then maybe the greenhouses and some foliage in the background. And then this is big enough to place anything water-wise that you would like to place on it. Obviously the swan boats and stuff, they all fit as well onto these river kits, so it'll be nice to add maybe something like that, or just some sort of water foliage, something along those lines. Anyway, this is where we're at. I'm quite happy with how it looks so far. I mean, we haven't done a great deal, but the concept is there, considering I'm doing this with not even the concept of a plan. So let me go ahead and start getting some path down. So I don't know which one I want to use for the time being. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the main street path. I know I'm not going to use this one just because the color doesn't match at all. So I'm just going to start placing some of this down and working out how much I need, what I'm going to swap, what I'm going to place where, because obviously I would really like this path to go to the edge. But what happens, I mean, it's not massively noticeable, but what happens is the actual border of the path, you can see, goes kind of visible, but then actually when you unselect it, it's not that visible anymore. So maybe I don't have to worry about that. I'll just bring it underneath because I do want it to go to the edge. And I think that's about as close as I'm going to get without going there to this stairwell, or this stairway, I should say. And I'm going to have this come and just meet it in the center. Maybe we do this one 4 wide. I think that'll be fine for this. And maybe we could even add a little step, just something like that. We'll do it going to Scrooge's door. So we'll have one go all the way across there, and we'll do the same thing with Remy's. We'll have the path running directly to Remy's door. And I was thinking maybe that needs to be 3. But actually, if I just have the path going out and around, and we have it walking down the side of this setup, kind of like this. And then I can just do 1, 2, 3 like that to give a little corner. Bring that down again and across and underneath. And then I can extend this one down, give it a little step, just for a bit of visual interest. I think that looks quite good. I will have it come, I will do a 3 there. We will have it come under that second column. And actually, we will have it come out there as well. Just like that. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I think it's around there. If I measure it by eye correctly. And that goes all the way down. That looks right to me. And then I don't need that bottom row. Bring that out, and that's all the way underneath. And then all the way to the top. And then we bring that across for 3. Fill that in. Bring this one over. And then I believe we've just got a single step out, kind of like that. Now it looks a little bit of a bigger gap on that side than this side, but that's just because the building sizes are different. So I'm happy with that. And then I'm just going to move that under there. And that looks pretty good already. This path definitely doesn't go, but I think what probably will is the brick road with the border. It's just the most neutral. It's the most gray as well. And I say that, and it might sound a little bit strange, but it is the most neutral gray of the bunch. We have some really cool grays and we have some really warm grays. So I feel like the brick road one is just one of the best for meeting quite in the middle. And I'm just going to see what it looks like with diagonal paths. And actually, I quite like that as well. I quite like it with the diagonal path. I'm just wondering whether I need to bring that down underneath here. I think I I think I do want to do that. So I'm just going to bring that down, fill that space in. And then let's just match the other side by getting rid of that one. And then let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's fun. I like that. We can have some little foliage in here if we wanted to, maybe at the back as well. I definitely want this to be like springy in terms of spring themed. So lots of foliage definitely on the menu for this one, but quite happy with this so far. The only other thing that I was contemplating was possibly putting a tree in the middle of the water, just so it's not hugely expansive. Possibly in the outer one. So what I was thinking was, if I try and find that center point, how am I going to do that? Let's grab a rug real quick. 1, 2, 3. What's that? It's 3.5. Is there another rug that I could use that might work a little bit better? 1, 2. Okay, that is 3.5. I was like, how can I find the midpoint? Wait, what am I doing? Right, around there is the midpoint. So maybe I'll be able to find it with the small section of path. Yeah, there we go. So I know that is that midpoint. And then in theory, that should be the other midpoint. And off the back of that, I can just grab some of these. Oh, look at that. What is that spacing? And I think for these ones, I'm just going to steal the corners from over here for now. I should be able to do it like that, which is great. So actually, what I'm thinking and what I've just realized is I probably need to double check the footprint of anything that I'm thinking of putting in here. But you can see this is my concept, and then I can just fill the rest of that space in with, well, additional water tiles. I'm not sure which size might be the most efficient. Maybe this one. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I can fill the little gaps in with these ones. So just 1, 2. Aha. I didn't think about that. So annoyingly, and something else to bear in mind, I actually should have touched on this earlier, these fence pieces are all individual. So these are eating into my item limit. I think I have about 150 down. That is 150 items off your item limit. These should have absolutely been, even if it was just craftable and you could only unlock the crafting recipe from the premium shop, I don't think that these should have been kind of like furniture items, unfortunately. But also what is the case is they have a single tile coming out of them, which is kind of annoying, but I can rotate it, so we should still be able to get the water to butt up against this in theory. I don't know if it'll stop any tree going in there, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. We'll cross the pond, lack of a better term. And let me fill that in just like that. And then we've got just like a nice little space where we could put maybe some sort of tree. So if I just super quickly take a look at what we have, obviously a lot of these things have big footprints, and if I need to expand that, I will. I've probably done this quite small. What was in my head was a willow tree. Of course, this frozen willow doesn't match the aesthetic, but if we had one of these in pink, that would have been amazing, because obviously willows usually grow around water, and I just feel like that would have looked really cool. Unfortunately, we don't have a great deal of those, and in general, we don't have a great deal of pink trees. We only have really, I mean, we've got a big giant mushroom, but we only have these magnolia trees from the Mulan realm, and they're kind of teeny tiny, so that's not that's not really what I was going for. That's not the effect that I was after. So it might be the case that I don't put a pink tree in this central bit. I'm definitely going to have to expand that. But it may be that we end up going with, I don't know, just a really large and tall, nice green tree. So maybe like the simple maple, which is kind of a little bit more of the Plaza colors, I would say. Or we've also got the tall maple as well, which again is slightly too big. But we'll definitely find something to fit in there. For now, maybe even a birch tree, but all of my birch tree footprints are also too big, so I guess I need to learn my own lesson and reduce the size of that tiny bit, because look at this. Look at what I've done now. But it's fine. Let's do... That is the size I've already put in, so it will be this one. Something along the lines of this, and then I'll just have to do a very smaller... A much smaller kind of like inner ring, if you will. So let me do that. Make sure that all looks good. And then I'm just going to grab these small ones and just do, yeah, maybe one more ring that's kind of in the center. And then we can work with that. That's much better. Grab these little fences and then we can do 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 on each side. 1, 2, 3. The nice thing about having the actual river kit is that it gives you the grid. I do kind of wish if we were going to be limited to the grid in this game, which of course we are, I would love it to actually have a toggle to show us the grid or not. That'd be very nice. Then I can pop these corner pieces on just like this. And then I've got a bigger gap. And actually, I think that works a little bit better. But now I'm looking at it. No, I'm not going to... Okay, it's just bugging me that like this is too out. But it's also the right size to be matching across here. So that's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And then that can go in the middle just like that. You see? Something like that. That's what I was going for. Took a long time to get there, but we got there at the end, so excellent. Let me save that real quick, and hopefully it won't undo. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Just what I was after. So I'm just going to go back to doing some more pathing right now. Just going to change it back to non-diagonal just to make it a little bit easier while we work on this. And I'm just going to go ahead and extend it to these quote-unquote bridge sections, I suppose. So I'm just going to do the same thing on both sides. Just have it coming over the center gap of that water, running a little bit underneath the river kit as well, because you can't really see it. So let's do that. Fill in the gaps. Do something like this. And then I don't know where to stop it, I'll be honest. I should probably have it coming out to... Look, the texture's rendering kind of strange on there. Got some sort of overlay, but it's not rendered quite correctly. But yeah, I should definitely have it coming off this. So let's do something like this. And then we can just fill this all in. And it's easier for me to delete to get the path shape that I want rather than build. So what I'm going to do right off the bat, I'm going to delete that one. And then actually I'm going to go ahead and delete this one as well. Now I think I'll probably match that by doing some sort of curvature like that on the corners. Actually, yeah, that looks great. I'm happy with that. Do I do another one? No. Do I do a gap? Kind of like that. I'm not sure. Don't think it adds anything unless it looks quite good. I mean, it adds a bit of visual interest like that. So yeah, let's go with that. So on this side, I know what I've got to do. I've got to go down. I've got to grab my brick road with the border, which I have plenty of. And then I can go ahead and just replicate it. So I'm just going to do 2 like that. And then I bring it across, I believe, for 3. 1, 2, 3. Make sure that's all filled in. Then I come back out. So we do 1. Bring that back out. And I believe it just starts stepping down. So as soon as I've got the 3rd one on here, like that, I can step it, step, 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 step. Just like that. Just like that. As easy as step, 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 step. I think that's about right. Let me just look at that. That is correct. So all the pathing looks good. Happy with all of that. I will think about this side in just a moment, because I can't get this any closer. But maybe it is that we just have... Maybe we do just have all of that waterway surrounded by path. So I can just bring that as close as I can get it. Round about there. And I don't know, do I bring this across the front? I am hitting that, so whether it's necessary or not, I don't think that it is. So I'm just going to undo that one and that one, and I'm probably just going to delete those because it's pretty much in line anyway. And when this is in place, you're not actually going to really notice the end of that path, which is perfect. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to go ahead and bring it all the way down. And I think we came out 3. Actually, that was 2. My mistake. I'm just going to come out 1 more. And I can get that as close as I can. I'm just going to make it match the other side. So that's about right. So the path, that all looks good. And then maybe we could have some stepping stones to the conservatory, or the greenhouse, I should say, wherever we end up placing that. But for now, maybe I'll even delete. Maybe I'll do something like that. And then that should change the diagonal as well. Actually, no. I don't like that. Let me leave that as it is, but I'm going to change the rest of it. Yeah, that looks great. I'm really happy with that. I don't want to clutter this plaza. Like, I don't want too much in it. I've done a lot of builds. I mean, my winter build, my winter plaza, that was a lot going on. But this one, I feel like it'll still have stuff and it'll still have foliage. I just don't want as much stuff. I just want it to be nice and simple. Spring feeling, floral, that sort of vibe. So I am definitely happy with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to replicate this one over here. I don't know if I've got a piece that actually is the same size. I don't think maybe I do. Maybe I do, and then I can save myself just a little bit of furniture limit, item limit, I guess. Let's see. That's the small. That's the pool. That's the large. That's the biggest. No. Okay, so there's no mid-size, if you will. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the same thing. Run this all the way around the border with no gaps. Make that nice and easy. So all the way around. And then I can fill... Not me running out of river kit pieces. Which is fine, because I've got 200 of these small ones, so if needs be, I can actually just reuse these. We'll just do like this all the way around with these smaller pieces. Oh my goodness, I'm really eating into my item limit today. I mean, to be fair, the rest of my biomes kind of look like that, so it's not all bad. I think it's one on this side, and then possibly, yeah, one on this side. Excellent. And then we can add in these. So 1, 2, 3. Same as we did on the other side of the plaza. 1, 2, 3. And then 1. Miscounted. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then when I grab the corner pieces from Scrooge's, we will be away. I'm just going to duplicate this one. Just going to bring this over and we're going to pop it right in the center. Just like that. I believe that is centered. Oh, I rotated it a full 360. There we go. Great. I'm happy with that. Definitely need to bring in some pink trees, but that is TBD. And let me save this pathwork to make sure we don't lose anything, and I will be right back. Right, perfect. I visited Scrooge as well, so I've picked up some more of these corner pieces, so we can go ahead and just place all of those in their rightful spots. Just going to go ahead and rotate them, making sure that they all fit nicely. Remember, on these bits, we said we were going to make those little squares, so it creates the heart. And then everywhere else, we're just going to have it coming up by 1. Like that. I think that's it for that side. And then over here, we just need 2 more on this little square. Some in the middle. Like that. 1 on this end. And then just a couple on these sides. And that is all good to go in terms of those fences. Again, a bit frustrating because they are so expansive for the item limit, but needs must, unfortunately. One thing I'm toying with is whether to add an extra one on these little bits to make it feel like hearts, but I don't want to do that all the way around, so I don't want to do that on every corner. I'm just thinking maybe for this central section right here, maybe that could be quite nice. So I'm going to stick with that for now. Maybe no, we'll go with, I don't know. I was wondering whether to do it over here as well, but I don't want to take up too much of the path and make it feel like you've got to kind of like walk around those random chunks of fence, you know? And it feels a little bit odd over here, so I think I might get rid of these ones and just keep the ones in the center. That works for me for now, so that's what I'm going to do. Around this tree, I was wondering whether I could bring in some of the pastel flower patches. I believe they are in underbrush. If not, they'll be in trees from Storybook Vale. I think they are actually in trees. So let's take a look down here. The pastel flower patch. I didn't know whether I'd be able to fit one in. I wasn't sure. But no, you can't clip this, unfortunately. I just thought these pastel flowers would have been really, really pretty mixed against that. But we could possibly do some beach grass instead. I believe that one. Oh no! Beach grass usually clips into anything. I think there's actually 3 different beach grasses. There are. Oh, but it doesn't clip into the tree, which is interesting. You can really clip beach grass into a lot. Wait. You can usually clip beach grass into a lot of stuff, but it seems as though... See, then this one doesn't clip. So I think there's a couple of versions of beach grass. That one doesn't clip at all, but this one does. But it looks as though this one won't even clip into the tree, which is a shame because I was going to have it running around the edge of the tree, but that's fine. I can work with that. I don't know how much of a gap I have around that tree because it's going to hit that one as well. So I may even only have 1 tile, which is not ideal, only because even some of the flowers take up 2 tiles. But I guess maybe I can see that takes up 4 and that is never going to fit. But I need one, or I could do with some that just take up 2. So this just takes up 2, for example. So I should, in theory, be able to get some flowers running around the edge of this tree, which is definitely something I'm interested in doing. I don't know if there's anything in foliage that would kind of replicate that, but it needs to be more, I guess, more wildflowery. Like I don't want something in a vase or anything like that. I don't think that would make sense for this, and everything else just has a slightly bigger footprint, or just in general too big of a footprint. I don't even think the bloom piles will work for this, unfortunately. So yeah, I will find some flowers later on that we can pop into there. Hopefully just some pink ones. That would be nice. And if they can be relatively tall, even better. But for now, let's take a look at what we've got. We've got a nice little setup going on. I think I'm going to grab those greenhouses, which were in the premium shop. So it was this elegant Edwardian greenhouse. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this just coming directly back off the path. So I'm just going to have it coming directly back off there, and it kind of lines up with that corner. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to take roughly where it is. So it's kind of in line with this line here. So I know if I bring that over, have that in line just there, and then I can just bring this all the way across. I think that's about right. Maybe a smidgen more to the left. Actually, let's do it this way, to the left. I think even one more. Yeah, perfect. So we've got those nice little greenhouses tucked down the back, which I like. The only thing that's, they face the same way as the building, but I can't really have it going that way. I don't really want it straight on either, so I'm just going to stick with having it like that for now. While I'm over here, I'm looking at these little sections, and I don't know whether to do something different here. So where this quote-unquote crossing is, I'm going to change everything back to non-diagonal for now, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to delete some tiles. So I'm just going to delete those. Actually, I'm going to take the ones out from underneath as well, just for now. I'm going to see maybe if we change the path here. I don't know what to. I'm not entirely sure. For now, I'm going to put down the slate path just to see how that might look. And then what I'm thinking of doing actually is, I don't know if this will work. Actually, one thing that I do know is that we do have a new path, which might work. I don't think I've unlocked it from the star path yet, but I might be able to take a look at unlocking that. I do wish that the paths kind of butt up against each other and we didn't see the biome floor. That would be ideal. I don't think that this one quite works, but I also don't know what I would replace it with. I don't think the main street path works for this build. The color of it is not quite right. I also don't think the cobblestones work. But I'm running out of options if I don't... Like, these don't work. Maybe the slate path is kind of the one for now, until I see if I can unlock that other path. But let's do... See, that doesn't look right, does it? If it doesn't feel right. Let me show you what my concept is. To remove these and possibly have maybe a fence going over this. Possibly not the black metal one, because I mean, it could work. Like, that could work, but you kind of get that weird look at the sub layer underneath the water. So I'm just going to delete those for now. And I'm thinking maybe I just try my luck with the wrought iron one, because at least that blocks a little bit more off. I'm just going to meet that in the middle. Let's see if I can get that to work. I mean, I think that works okay for what I'm trying to do. Unless I do something along... No, that doesn't work. So I'm going to have that right in there. I was just seeing if maybe it worked, like, to have the post between that, you know? But I don't think that works either. I mean, it's not a bad idea, but I just don't think it quite goes. So I'm just going to get rid of that for now, and I'm just going to place down this again and have it run to there. Delete that middle one so we can get it to line up nicely. And I'm wondering if I need to use maybe just the end piece. Just, again, a pain. Look at that. I can't have it this way where I need it just because I can't have it, the green section going into the water. So this is where I was going with that kind of like bridge over this water, but it doesn't seem to be... It doesn't seem to want to play ball with me, unfortunately, on this very sad occasion. Maybe I could just have that on this end instead. Maybe that could work, but then obviously when I need to rotate it all the way around over here, that's not going to catch. But I don't like the slate. I mean, I don't mind how this looks in general. I just don't know if the wrought iron is working for me, and I feel like the slate is definitely not working for me. So then at that point, I'm wondering if it's worth doing or not. But I could try this fence instead. Let me delete that and let me meet this in the middle. And that might work a little bit better, or make it feel slightly more like a bridge, maybe. Actually, that kind of works nicely. I like that. And maybe I don't need to change the floor. Maybe I can just use this. And maybe I can come up with something creative. Maybe I can do something myself. By possibly... Bear with me, besties. I don't know. I'm coming up with stuff. Please don't judge. Maybe I could do something along these lines. I don't think I want anything that's like a different color or anything like that, but that could kind of work. Maybe something along those vibes. So something like that. Maybe just put one on each. I mean, does this make sense? No. Does it look okay? Yes, maybe. Oh, it looks kind of like a face. That's kind of how I feel doing this. I don't know. I mean, the other thing is to have just step. Wait, why don't I just do that? Something like that could work, right? Rather than just that, because that feels odd. But at least that lines up. And there's 3 of them, and it lines up with everything, so... Let's do that. Let's do that. For the time being. Unless there's a rug. I don't think there's a rug. I don't think there's a rug that would work. Not unless I used some stepping stones. I mean... Obviously, I wouldn't mix and match the 2 paths like this, but I was just wondering maybe they could work, but I don't think that they are working for me unless I ran them along the edge, but then you're kind of seeing the edge again. It's all a little bit of a pain. All a little bit of a pain, but it's good to try things. I mean, if you don't try, you'll never know. And sometimes you're better off not knowing. Because does that feel odd? I think just the grass is throwing me off. I think it's just the grass in general is making it seem a little strange. I just wish that they would butt up next to each other. I mean, there's always the option of just doing the... But they don't look very good. Okay, I'm going to go back to pre-rug. Okay, let's get rid of all of you. Let's go back to pre-rug. Unless there's anything else I can see. I mean, this Greek mosaic one, in theory, could work, but obviously this is not a Greek-themed plaza, so not quite. We're going to have to wait for the summer for Hercules to come for that. And outside the rest of it, I don't think there's a great deal here. I mean, I might use the Isabella rug somewhere else, but for this bridge, which is definitely no longer a bridge, we're just going to go with that. Okay. Let's do the same thing over here. So I know that I've got to take out a couple of these on both sides, I believe. Yeah, and then we just run that fence along the fence line. Let's jump back into fencing and grab that. Placed it in the wrong place. Grab that. Move it all the way across. Delete the middle, and then just bring it to the middle instead. Then we've got it nice and even on both sides. Same thing down here. Bring it to about there. And then bring it to about there. And then I can just delete those 3 areas. And I can go ahead and place some pathing down. Let me just check the cobblestones. I don't think the cobblestones work either. Let me just double check real quick. No, see, you see too much of the grass underneath them. Well, actually, no. Well, no. Let me stick with what I had. Okay, let's go. Let's have that. And let's do, which one was it? It was the natural rock one, right? Do I have it going underneath? The only problem is then it comes out the front. But it does at least kind of disappear under the water that way. So, I mean, that's always a... I mean, that's a possible. And a maybe. Unless I did it the other way round. Let's experiment, friends. And let's do that here. And then in this spot as well. Oops. Where is it? Down here. And we can have that go under. That go under. And then they can meet. And we just have the 2 instead of the 3. Not that it makes... Not that it makes a massive amount of difference, but I think that breaks it up a little bit better than the other one did. Possibly. Alright, at least I can fit that corner piece in there. I'll just go ahead and fit the same corner piece over here. Just like that. Actually, I think that one works better because it looks intentional. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and just get rid of all of this for now. And then we'll just do it again. So it was the 2 middle pieces. So one there and one here. Then I can just fill in the gaps, not with fence, but with pathing. Not with fence. Not with fence, but with pathing. Ah! Oh my goodness. Okay. There we go. I mean, it does not look like a bridge in any capacity, but we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it. We'll roll with it. Okay. Great. That works for now, at the very least. So I wonder if... I wonder if we save that, because that was a lot of faffing around, and then we move on to something else. Okay, so I'm just going to come back to the front for now. And what I'm thinking of doing, even though these flowers are in the way, I'm thinking of running the Alice in Wonderland topiary down the edge of this, just on the path, kind of like this, maybe about here, and then just running this down here so it kind of like encloses itself. Then maybe we can leave a small gap. Actually, maybe we can leave a full kind of like bush width gap. You see that? I'm just going to bring that in while that's in the way so I know where it goes to. But actually, I don't think that goes there because I hit that. So how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, we could take out this one and have the gap in the hedge up there. I like that. And then when I move this back, I'm just one off on that, which is such a shame. Actually, wait, why don't I just do that? And then I can just bring them one down. And then I can bring that back, and that would line up really nice. We can do that. Okay, let me replicate this on the other side. So what did we have? Just on the edge of the path like that. And then we had 4. 2, 3, 4. And we had a full one. Then we had another one. But then we got rid of that one and moved this down by 1. So I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to do 1 here. And unfortunately, I have a dig spot. So I need to do the same thing there, but it does look as though that will fit when that dig spot is gone, which is absolutely perfect. And then again, we've got that nice little entrance. And actually, wait, let's see, because we've got those really nice gates that match. So we've got these open gates, and I wonder how much space they need. Oh, perfect. They only need 6. So I can have this right on the edge here. And then I can just move this down to match. And then if I have one gap on the edge, that's absolutely fine. But unless we have them, do we set them on the edge or do we set them? Yeah, we'll set them just on the edge of the actual border. I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Just rotate that all the way around, have it sit on the edge of the border. And then I can just bring this all down by 1. Or 2 on this side for some reason, which actually lines up with the path on that side. I don't know if it does line up with the path on this side too. Excellent. Okay, so I just need to get rid of that dig spot when I get a chance and rid of that herb. And then we've got this nice like walled in plaza effect with those topiaries. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I actually think that I might do something like this with the path. And then I was toying with having, and I did it in my Disney Beach Club resort video, and I had like just a nice little, I don't really know what to call it, because I guess it's not really an enclosed garden, but it's kind of an enclosed garden. It's not really an enclosed garden, but it was just a nice little bit of foliage that was behind a fence. But actually, I don't like the way that that fence sits right there, so I don't want to change the plaza. So let me come out of that. Let's go and grab those herbs and those dig spots while we are at it. So let me just go ahead. I know Max is following me around somewhere. Come on, buddy. I'll let you do the digging. There he is. Dig that up for me, Max, and then we'll go do the other one. Is it a night shard? It is. Then we can go back through, over the bridge. Not you getting a little tour / glimpse at this already. And then we will go down here, through my gap again, and I will pick up this herb and get it out of the way. Oh, memory. Actually, let me grab the memory as well. Real quick, because those you cannot move. You can move them on a floating island, which is nice, but you can't move them elsewhere. And then we can push all of those back by 2. Oh, this looks so good. This is all coming together better than some of my other builds, but I really love how this looks so far. especially with these little trees in here. I just think it looks really, really nice. All right, back to what we were doing, which was finding a spot to have a nice little fenced area. I don't know if it's that, actually. Don't know if it's that. It might end up being maybe even this area. But having that fenced in, I think I need to expand this down by 1. Because if I do have a fence, we might need the space. So let me bring all of this down slightly. Kind of like that. So I'm going to do that, that, and that. Oops, too many. Let me see how that looks really quick when we change it to diagonal. And it may be that we have a fence in this area. But again, that fence, even though it's one of the smaller ones, it might be too much. But we can only do it by trying. So I'm just going to... Actually, I want a bit more interest. So I don't know whether to do something like this. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. Oh, not this. Not this. Let me just see how that one works. I mean, that works as well. I actually wonder if that works a little bit better. So let's do that. Let's change it. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and grab a fence. I'm just going to grab this one. Now, where can we start? We can start from here. I need to do diagonal just for that little bit. And I need to do that down there, across, and yeah, let's see where the diagonal sits actually. So I need to do this one diagonal to that point, maybe. Kind of a pain to use the diagonal fencing, I can't lie, and you can't do the same thing as you can with the path, which is to have it one way and then convert it. So you'll see that it's lots of like single fence pieces, you know, and it doesn't quite work for me. And honestly, I don't think it looks quite right. So let's just get rid of that. We can always find somewhere else to add in that fence if we need to, or if we want to even. But for now, I'm just going to stick with this. And I think let's just start getting some foliage in. So I'm going to come down, and obviously my primary foliage items for this build are going to be these 3 different magnolia tree types. So we've got the small one, which is the biggest, the medium, which is the smallest, and the robust. Now, I'll be honest, I don't often call a magnolia tree, well, I don't call any tree robust, but it'll do. Let's... this one, I mean, actually, I take it back. This one is robust. This one is definitely robust. And I don't know whether to have those on the corners. I don't actually, I'll be honest, I don't love this shape tree. It's just quite a lot, you know? So I might not even end up using that one. Although that doesn't look too bad. Round about there. You know, something kind of like that. What does that need to come across by another? Oh, it needs to come across quite far. So I think that is about right. I wonder if I block too much. You know, I wonder if I block this and this nice hedge with the petals on it by using that one. Or whether I use this larger one. Kind of like, ooh, maybe like this? Let's see. Where can you sit? So you sit maybe about there. Let me just move this instead of deleting it so I can always grab it if I need it. And maybe another one of these. Where was it? It's about there, right? I mean, that looks kind of nice. And then maybe I could pop... Maybe I could pop the smaller one in. Right there. Well, that doesn't kind of match. Let me see. Guess something... Something kind of like that could work. Which looks kind of cute. I don't know whether to rotate that inward by one and that inward by one. Although, you know, this one has such an interesting shape. I just wish that we could almost reflect it. I could do something along those lines. Maybe we just stick with roughly what we had, which was where? Here? There, I think. Because the actual stems on those are quite interesting as well, and maybe we could fit in another tree, possibly, that it clips into. But I do kind of like having these little intro ones. I think those are cute. The other thing I just want to get down just while it's in my brain, don't know whether to use these. I don't think they quite go, but I know that we do have the smaller, where is it? Stone lanterns from the Mulan update, which is great. It's a shame they take up so much space. They could really just be a 2x2 item instead of the giant that they are. But I want to get those down just to make sure that I can remember to place those later on. I think maybe we'll just have them in the central bit, just like that. Can I fit these in here? Maybe I just go with that instead. Although I kind of like having them inset on the inside of those little hearts. I think it adds something to it. So I'm just going to move those back one so they sit just on the path, just because that's my preference. I might even sit them inside of the path. Like that. Yeah, let's do something like that. That feels good for now. Bit of rain, because honestly it feels like all it does in my valley is rain for some reason. I did come out with furniture mode, and you can see that it didn't save anything. Again, very frustrating. I wish that Gameloft would just get on top of this stuff. Like this, yeah. I'll save that for another time. Very disheartening, to say the least. I know we only placed a few items, but it happens constantly, and then sometimes it affects the stuff that I've forgotten, or it affects so much that I've forgotten what I've done. So yeah, it is a real pain. So Gameloft, please sort out your bugs. It shouldn't be that difficult. Let's stop breaking stuff. Woohoo! Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and try and place these where I remember where they were. So there's one round about there, and let's do one again round about there. I'm just going to try and get those overhanging bits to line up as best as I can. And then up here, I'm going to do one there, and then one round about there. I'm going to rotate that one and rotate that one, just so they kind of frame that well and the rest of the castle. And then the one thing that I did want to remember, of course, was that stone lantern, which is here. So I'm going to place that right on the inside of there, and then there. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't disappear forever as soon as we finish saving it. So moving on, I think maybe in this section we could have possibly a bench. Just a nice little bench. I know that there's a Mulan bench. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to filter by Mulan. I just need to remember what her icon is, because to be honest, I literally can never remember. I'm sure it's towards the top, but I'm often clicking on Moana if I'm doing beach builds and stuff like that, but oh my goodness. There she is, it's the dragon. Is it Mushu? I'm not sure, but I know that there's definitely... Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's the Magnolia Garden bench. So I knew that there was a bench, but actually, I don't think that one fits. Don't forget that. Scrap that. What we're going to do is I'm going to reset these filters. I'm going to search for bench because I believe that there's a stone bench. Yeah, this stony bench. And I feel like that's gonna go a little nicer just with what we've got going on, especially with those lanterns. And maybe I adjust it to bring this lantern to here instead. You know, so the stone bench kind of sits in the middle of those, even though... Well, maybe in that case, can I fit it down the side? Actually, I can. So I wonder if I do something like that instead. There we go. I think that works. Let's do that, and then I can pop that on the inside, and then I can center align that bench. Well, it feels like I have a bigger gap. It's because of this bloody fence piece again. Okay, that's fine. I need to move you in one. And then I guess I'll just move you in one. And we'll roll with that. That's fine. That'll do. That will do. So I like those little stone benches. Because I don't want to make this, and I think that's the other thing. I don't want to go with like a full Mulan theme for this, in the sense that I don't want it to be like kind of a Chinese inspired plaza or an Asian inspired plaza. I want it to just be floral and springy, so I don't want to lean too heavily into a lot of the Mulan stuff that we got, because you can do some incredible like Asian Mulan builds with that stuff. But yeah, for this one I just kind of want to stick with the florals for the most part. And I've just remembered, just off the top of my head, I know that we have a pond, right? We've got that teapot pond. I wonder if I can get that to fit in those little spaces. I know it's another water feature, and we've already got one, but it might work. The only annoying thing about the ponds is that they are not able to be put like symmetrically together just by their nature. So let me see what we can do with that. There's something like that, but then the path down there is not the greatest, so I don't know whether to... I might need to adjust the path to get this to fit in, or it might be that this is not the right spot for it. That doesn't look too bad. I would just really... like, what I would love is to have it just reflected, but I know that that's not possible, so I just need to... I need to accept that. It's just hard for me to do, okay? I'm a symmetry girly. I like symmetry, so... What do we do? What do we do? Maybe we have these up here instead. You know, kind of like both sides. Maybe like sitting in these little gaps. Kind of like that. I feel like that's cute. And I guess, I mean, you could really, if you wanted to, have it on both sides. I mean, I know I was just saying I don't want to lean too heavily into the Asian-inspired stuff. And this one is definitely that, but it's also got the cherry blossoms on it. Yeah, I don't think that spot, even if I really wanted it, it was going to fit in there. So I'm just going to leave it at the back for now, and we can do a little bit more work with that in a sec if we end up wanting to keep that there. But all right, let's jump back into trees. Let's pick something pink, which again are our only options. Maybe I do use these robust ones. I mean, they do have a lot of space. I mean, this is kind of diagonal. That's what I mean. This it's kind of diagonal. I could have it sitting like that, you know? Possibly something like this. Maybe move it across by one. And that could work, but again, it just feels like it's like you come out of Scrooge's or you come out of Remy's and you just hit a gigantic massive tree. So let me just keep one of those up there, and I'll just pop in those smaller ones that I had for now. And do I do it right at the entrance or do I do it on the corner? I'll do it on let's do it on the entrance. Let's do there and there. We'll do, yeah, something like that. Then I guess we could always we can always bring in different green trees. So I do know that there is a smaller version of the tall maple, which I know we've used in there, or I think we've used the simple maple. Like, this is a smaller version, but could this be too big to be right outside of these buildings? Possibly, but also possibly not. Unless we swap this around and we had those over here. And these creeping into this area. Kind of like that. And maybe, yeah, like that. So that still looks good. Let me place them in the corners and see what we've got. You need to go about there. All right, let's move them into the center-ish of that path. Move into the center-ish of that path. Actually, I think that would work. I think that will work, and we can have some extra foliage and plants down there. So I'm just going to do that to there, and I'm going to make sure that they are semi-aligned, and we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we'll do 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it doesn't eat too much into the building, but it just kind of like brushes up against it, and it almost brings us like a nice little vanishing point and a focal point for the eye. And I think the green pops quite nicely against the rest of the foliage colors, which is great. And then down here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to... Okay, these Plaza hedges are way too big. I mean, there could be an argument to be made for the tree. The Plaza tree in some capacity, because it adds a little bit of structure. Actually quite like that. So maybe we could do one on each corner. Something like that. That's kind of cute. Maybe even bring them in over here too. That might be a little tiny bit too much, but let's see. Kind of like that. Actually, I quite like that. I quite like that. And maybe I just bring this one just in by an extra one. Yeah, something along those lines. Let's work with that for now. Ooh, this already feels nice. Just adding those little bits of foliage already feels really good. And I've also got these, of course. So I've got these shrubs. These are not shrubs. These topiaries that I can really sneak in anywhere. I mean, I don't want to block off the view with those here, but I'm just thinking they could work as like corner pieces, you know, something like that. That could be an option. Don't think I'm going to be able to fit that one on with that, but you know, just on the path, it could be something that we look into. Can't have it, unfortunately. sit next to each other just by the way of how the diagonal works, which is a bit of a pain, but you know, we could just have it sort of like there. Although I do have I think I've got a corner piece of this, so maybe there's a curved piece that we could... Yeah, there is a curved section. I'm just wondering, is there anything interesting that I could do with that? But I also can't get those to butt up against each other on the diagonal, which is a real shame. It is a real shame. I mean, we can have a little gap in between them. It's not the end of the world, but meh. I think I just kind of like the flat one for now, for the sake of this particular build. But we can use those as well. And the red is fine because it picks up some of the other tones. The other thing that I was thinking was possibly using these topiary squares, only because they take up a nice chunk of room and they're just one item on the item limit. So if we ate into the path, we could just do something like that. Can't fit it behind the buildings on this build, but maybe we don't end up using those just for this one because we've got so much water going on in the plaza, which is fine. But it just means we don't have as much room to play with. Let's carry on. Let's jump back into... Let's go into trees for this one. I'm just going to grab some of these pastel flower patches and just try and work out where these can actually sit without being too in the way. Obviously, I'm trying my best not to clip on any of the buildings either. So there and there, that's not quite aligned. Can I get you to sit where I want you to? Which is what? Roughly there? Give or take. I think that's sitting in the middle-ish, so I'm going to do the same over here if I can, but I don't think I'm going to be able to because of that tree, which is a pain. Yeah, that tree is really kind of getting in the way. Let me see. What is your footprint? What is your footprint? I mean, I do have an option to do that. And then I think that's roughly where that one is. So let me see. Wait, is the path different? The path is different on both sides. So I've got a big chunk there, but I don't have the big chunk here. Aha! That makes sense. So should it be like this? Is that better? I think that is more in line. So let me change that. And that seems to be... All right, that's better. So I can place that one here. I don't know if I can do it on that side. I can. But I can't bring that one down. So all I need to do is bring this back one. And then I can place it where? Here? And then that matches. Yeah, perfect. That matches on both sides. All right, anything else? I wonder if there's anything... I mean, we've got this ever-growing flower bush, which is always handy. And I mean, it's pink, so it's perfect for this. And look, we've even made ourselves a little hidden Mickey by using that and those little pastel patches. So yeah, we're gonna go with that. Let's do there and there. And then we have ourselves a little hidden Mickey, which is also really cute. Well, I feel like that's barely touching the... I mean, Are you in the right place? I feel like you are. Let me see. So that's the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do that. And then we'll see if it lines up on this side. Because why not? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, that doesn't feel right. All right, I'm just gonna I'm gonna stick with doing it by eye instead. Maybe it's that. Maybe that's what we're doing. Okay, perfect. Let me save that, and I'll be right back. The rain has stopped, which is lovely, and I think I'm going to try and sneak some of these nice big pink bushes in as well. Into maybe just the corners? Something like that? Something along those lines. Although now that I've put some trees down, we're starting to get sticks everywhere. But, right. 1. And 1. So that fits in there. Very nice. I wonder if we could sneak a little pastel flower patch in. Maybe we could move this back to maybe roughly about here. Oh, do they line up if I do that? I think that they do, which is even better. And then I might be able to get one in. Yeah, I can just get one in that front section. Which is weird, because I can move that one across one, but I can't move this other one across. So maybe you need to go back one, you need to go across one, and then you can go across one and back one. Something like that. Again, I'm going to try to not over design this. I'm going to try and leave more gaps this time around. So, you know, there's only a handful of items around here, and I can always use, which is actually perfect for this. I don't know if it's in paths anymore, if it's moved. Oh no, it's in underbrush, isn't it? So it's been in underbrush. I've got this magnolia bloom path. So, you know, we can add this in wherever we want for just kind of like an extra touch. And these, I believe, yeah, these are unlimited, which is nice. So you could just add those in wherever you want. I'm just going to do maybe some down here, like kind of like having it come onto the path, which is really nice. So I'm just going to go over here. And not me measuring out petals that would have randomly fallen, but you know what it's like. You get the vibe. You understand. You understand what I've got going on. And I can do some more maybe here. Then, you know, round about there. I don't have to make a path out of them. I can just kind of like have them randomly on the floor, which is really nice. So I love how this has turned out already. I think that this is great, especially this centerpiece. And actually there's not a, you know, there's not a great deal more to do at the back here. I'm actually going to leave these side, I guess, well, I don't want to call them alleyways. They're not really alleyways, but I'm going to leave these side sections clear. So I've just got a nice clean run up to the other biomes. And I didn't know whether to bring in like the gates anywhere else, but I just feel like they don't quite work anywhere else in the same way. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, but I would probably need to kind of like come off that, you know, to make it feel like it fit. I mean, unless I did it coming off the plaza instead. You know, something like that. Actually, wait, that could work. I'm going to do that. Instead of having it on the steps, I'm just going to have it on each side of the plaza. And that's just a bit fun, something a bit different for the Teen Vogue party. Yeah. Let's go with that. And then maybe we can even fit in some of these plaza trees on both sides. Actually, we can fit them right in the gap like that. Or maybe I prefer them on the edges. I don't think I need one. Maybe I need the path to come So obviously I've got it coming out to a point on those edges, but maybe I need to have it come in. Oops, let's not grab that. Let's actually grab the path instead. Okay, or we can just grab that. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, because actually having the path come into it means that it looks better as well. And then we can just put those trees in those gaps, and I can do that on both sides. Perfect. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I need to move away. Let's change that. Let's get rid, get rid, get rid, get rid. And I can change everything back to diagonal, and we can go ahead and duplicate these and bring them into the spots. We're just about there. Yeah. Just like that. Excellent. Great progress. So I think that I'm done. Yeah, I think that I'm done here. The only thing maybe I'm wondering if I should pop in is possibly some stone lanterns. So just having them, I would prefer them on the path, but I don't mind them off the path on that bit. And then maybe another one just while we're at it. I don't even think I need them. I don't know. I don't even think I need them kind of like there. Maybe I'm toying with putting it here. Actually, I don't think it needs it because we've got the one tucked on the grass by there. I mean, the other thing we could do is put it right next to the building. Nope, we can't do that because it doesn't fit with Scrooge's, because Scrooge's is so gigantic, but that's fine. I guess we could put it on just the edge of this topiary for now. Might need to move that across. I'll revisit those. I will revisit those. Little lanterns, we can always do some more lighting at the end. So moving on to this back section. And obviously whatever I do on one side, I'll do on the other. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in one of these big trees. And I'm just going to place it. Can't decide. I can't decide. Let me grab a rug real quick so I know that the spacing is the same. I think this orange one is relatively small. Yeah, so I'm going to place that there, and then I'm going to try placing the tree. No, I think I even want it smaller than that, so I don't know if I have a small square rug. I don't think that I do. I guess I can just move it down to like here. Wait, that's not square. That's not square. That was slightly off. Okay, let me go back to my trusty Agrabah rug. And then I've come down 4. So I'm just going to go to the edge of that, and I'm going to come across one and up one. Grab my rug. I'm just going to get rid of that one for now. And do I have, I fear, looking at that, I have a different size path. Right? That's what it looked like to me. Let me change this. I've got 1, 2, 3. But I've only got 2 on that side. Where have I added the extra one? Here, by the look of it. So I've got to do all that. Okay. That changes things. So where does that now sit? Just on the edge. That one like that. And I can duplicate this. We can do there. Again, I know with the measuring and everything, everything else, but leave me be. And then we can have a slightly bigger one behind it, because honestly, it doesn't really matter because we've already got one on the side and it just kind of like frames the back half of it. And then we can bring in, actually, maybe this is where we can bring in one of these. And we just have this take up a bunch of space. So let's do Yeah, let's do 2 rotations and let's have that sit. Actually, let's do 1 rotation and have it sit kind of just in that spot. Just kind of like that. So I'm just going to duplicate that. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to try and find a similar home for it on this side, which might actually prove difficult, but... All right, I came down 8 from there. And then I'm going to come across 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to come down 8 from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I say I came across 2 or 3? I think I came across 3. 1, 2, 3. I did. See, this is why we need a flip tool. You know, like a group select and a group flip. That would be ideal. And then I'm just going to go ahead and grab these big flowering bushes again. I'm going to place 1 down. Let's do kind of in between those trees and then back a little bit. So I'm going to do kind of in between those trees and then back a little bit. I mean, I'll just get as far back as I can with that one. Where is that? I think that's roughly in line, give or take. And then I'll just pop that in maybe about there. And then I could just grab some of these pastel patches, get some of these in. So where's that? That's like, it's like centered to the path. And just 1 back. I'm going to take it 2 back. Centered to the path, take it 2 back. And then we'll do the same thing. I'm just going to attach that to the corner of that one. I'm just going to attach this to the corner of that one. Kind of like that. Nothing too major. And then actually, I think we could probably get away with doing some of these smaller ones again around the back. Maybe just in this little section. Just kind of like that. And that's roughly about the same over there. Kind of like that. That looks good. I'm happy with that. And then I need something in this area. Thinking maybe another green tree. I just don't know which one to use. I don't want anything too big. So like all of the rest of those are like super duper big. But actually I think, okay, that tall black maple is huge. The tall maple is huge and the simple maple is huge. But actually the tall black one is the smaller one. But it is it a slightly different color? No, it looks exactly the same as that one. I don't know, that doesn't feel quite right. Let me just take a quick look through this and see what else we've got going on. Any other nice small trees? I mean, we could use a cypress, but I don't think... I mean, actually, I should probably have used some more cypresses around. So let me think about where this could go. Unless I get rid of the ones next to the plaza and use the cypress trees instead. Well, actually, I quite like the plaza shrubs. I know that they're slightly smaller. I do quite like those. We do obviously have a couple of different colors of this, but I'll be honest, none of them feel quite right, so... Let's take a quick look. I mean, we have these trees. I know it's got a birdhouse in it, but actually it's like kind of appropriate, right? Actually, I don't even mind the bunting in that tree. Maybe that's the one. Maybe it's this ranch tree with bunting. I'm just going to place that round about there. And do the same thing on the other side. Although that one's a little bit closer to the other one, just due to the fact that Scrooge's is so much bigger. So I can probably have it like around there. And then maybe we just have another one of these giant shrubs. Just kind of sitting in the middle of those. Just visually. Actually, no, the pastel patches I think will work. Just down the back. In between those. Hopefully I actually don't even think... oh, I just have the room. Look at that. Just have the room. That's tight. Don't think I can get... Just looking. Can I get that further back? Just, I don't want that to be so close to the path. But I think that works. Let me take a look over this side, see if that roughly feels the same. Just about. And then, yeah, I wonder if there's an underbrush that has like nice pink on it. I don't want the flowering one because I don't want the purple and the yellow. Obviously, I've got the path that I can use. This doesn't really feel like Springtime Plaza to me, but honestly, nothing else does. I wish, actually, looking at this now and looking at everything we have, I wish that we had some more, I guess just some more pink shrubs. But I can go ahead and add some beach grass. We can do that. I know it doesn't want to interact with all the trees, but makes it feel a little bit more lived in and a little bit more wild, I guess. So I'm going to do that. So how many did I place down there? I think that was 3. I've got 1 on the corner, 1 after the topiary, and 1 clipping into the building. So I've got, what, 1 on the corner? I think that's where it was. 1 on the corner, 1 at the back, and 1 in the other corner. That does not help me when I come back over here. 1 in the corner. Actually, I'm going to put 1 in here as well. Oh, it was here? This corner? Yeah. Corner, corner. Corner, corner, back. Corner, corner, back. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. That works. Let's go with that. Perfect. I actually think those are filled in quite nicely. I don't know whether to do... I'll be honest, adding the topiary fence maybe does feel a bit weird. I think it's fine. I just think it needs something here. And it's probably just a pastel patch, to be honest. These are my trusty go-tos for filling in space. Unless it's another Plaza tree, but I don't think it is. I mean, it could be one of the small trees. Actually, wait, yeah, let's do that. Can I fit one in on this side, though? That's the question. Let me move this flower out the way. I fear the answer is going to be no. But I can always just get rid of the light. Right? And just have something like that. And just get rid of that light. It's just slightly clipping into the topiary, but that's fine. Yeah, that works. Yeah, that definitely works. It's a shame that this light takes up so much space. Where does that one sit? Just off? I mean, it sits on the corner, but that doesn't feel quite the same with Scrooge's. Maybe? I mean, I've got one up over there. I could always just pop it in that corner, I guess. On both sides, something like this. I think that would work. Question of what to do with that as well, if I do anything at all, but I actually quite like it the way that it is. Can't have them here because it's too tight. Be too much of a squeeze to fit them in and kind of like walk past them as well. Unless I just get rid of these. I have to have that, don't I? Yeah, that's a pain. I mean, no. No. It's a no from me. I will revisit those little stone lanterns, definitely. Sometimes you just need to take a step away from them. Build in the back now, which is great. I think if we do stick with having these ponds, kind of like that ish, sort of, kinda. I'm just looking. I mean, they kind of create like a yin-yang shape if I do it that way. But then if I wanted to put stuff here, I wouldn't be able to put it there. So I have to think about that. I need to like leave the same amount of space. All right, let me save this and then we will jump straight back in. So I think we're very nearly there. I know we've got a little bit of a gap at the back, but it shouldn't take too long to fill that with some foliage. So what I've done is I've just placed a couple of little things down here, mostly for this corner. So I was just thinking, actually, this corner needs something. I thought maybe this cherry blossom tree in the pot could be quite nice. So I'm actually going to place one here. And then I'm going to go all the way over to the other side and I'm just going to do the same. I can actually get rid of this corner piece for that and I can just drop it right in there. And then alongside that, I was thinking maybe something like this, just a little bit smaller to mix it up a little bit. Or even, if I think about it, I know that there's some hydrangeas somewhere in here. Where are they? There we go, the hydrangea bundle. So I might just be able to do one here. And then one maybe here. Something like that. Not too close to the path, but close enough that it just adds. Actually, it's quite dainty, you know? Like, it's quite cute. So I'm just going to do another one here and then one maybe there. Although that feels a little bit closer to the pot. Does it? Maybe there and there. Oh, okay. Yeah, there and there. And then I'm just going to do that one. Probably. Yeah, let's do that rotation. So yeah, that looks cute. Just some extra kind of like pink tones or something like that. And then of course we can bring in some of those cherry blossoms. We can pop those underneath. Something like maybe like that. Actually, I might bring it out a little bit further. Yeah, just something like that. Same on this side. Where was that? Just about there. Then we can do another one just underneath that pot, the same as we did over the other side. Just going to rotate that once more, actually. We'll do, actually, I'm going to just do it that way. Cute. I love those little petals for just adding just a bit of character, just a bit of extra visual interest. They don't need to be absolutely everywhere, like I said earlier, but it just, I don't know, breaks up the floor, breaks up the pattern a little bit. Cool. Let's do that there, and let's do that one. Great. I do want to add some swan boats because I just think they look really cute. They kind of remind me of summer, I guess, if you go boating on a lake, but I thought that they could be quite nice. Maybe just like, how far can I go over here? You know, just something like that. Or maybe even swap those around. So one here, one just out the back. We just put one there. One sort of like up towards the back again. What is that? Just 4 in, I think. That lines up. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit. So that actually looks spot on. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And I was also thinking of adding them, just because they actually look really cute, is maybe one sort of like over here towards this side as well. So I can just 1, 2, 3. Oh, let's do that again. 1, 2. Ah, rude. What is it doing? I want it in the middle. 1, 2. Okay, 2 it is. I'm not doing that again. In the middle. 1, 2. I know. I could be more free flowing with my placement of them, but you know that I like things to match by now. You know that. I don't think I can fit any over on this bit around the tree, which is fine. I mean, I could fit one there, but I actually think 4's overkill. I'm quite happy with just the 3. So I think all of that looks really good. The one thing I didn't know whether to use, if I reset that and I go to filters and we come down to, where is it? The Star Path, Garden of Whimsy. There is this beautiful gazebo. We got the pink one and the purple one, but I just couldn't quite think or find anywhere to place it. I mean, it does really match and it does really go. I mean, I suppose if I didn't want the ponds anymore, I could use it in place of the ponds, but then I still feel like I kind of need something underneath it. I don't know. I do really like it, and I do think it looks really, really good, and it fits, honestly, the theme that we've been going for. Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know whether to use it. I don't know whether to leave the pond or whether to use this. I think I'm going to leave the pond. There's definitely kind of like nowhere else. Well, I mean, I was about to say that this is certainly not going to fit anywhere else, but I mean, it kind of does, but it just blocks all of the path, which is a shame. But I mean, in a way, I guess I can always undo this, so don't fret. But if it would fit down there, I could always kind of wait. Okay, do I kind of like that? Part of me really thinks that works, because all I'm getting rid of is the stone benches, right? And then it's actually kind of like a cute little gazebo. Oh wait, no, I like that. Okay, we'll do that, and I'm gonna bring in these stone lights, and we're just gonna put them right at the start. And actually, I can leave them. I think I can also leave them afterwards, because they still kind of fit. So I could just put them there and there, like that. Well, that looks good. Okay, we'll stick with that. I do need to find some other places to try and sneak these lights in. Maybe something like that. Didn't even realize that they would fit there. And then, yeah, ideally, I need some maybe over here. So I was thinking maybe each side. I know it doesn't fit exactly the same place, but each side of that topiary. And then once we finish up the back end. Oh, what am I hitting? Am I hitting that? I am. I'm hitting that by 2, actually. Let me grab that again. There we go. 1 and 2. Actually, that one seems more in the correct place than the one over this side. Oh, it's because I've put it on the grass. There we go. Whereas it needs to be on the actual stone path. Ah, I know what it is. I haven't moved this one back, even though I dug that up. Even though I dug the dig spot up earlier, hadn't replaced it, so... There we go. Just off each corner. And if I do the same thing over here... Actually, I can go back again. Just off each corner. And I think maybe this side, it needs to go back to about there. But what am I hitting? Is it just that flower? That's fine. I can get rid of that flower. We don't need that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's looking so good. I'm just going to put that underneath the actual light. Let me move that one underneath the light as well. All right, and then let's just finish up this back corner. So I'm going to stick with the ponds. I'm going to attempt to leave a similar or same gap. So it's going to go kind of around there-ish. Maybe back one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab maybe just one tree. Pop that in, maybe another one. Like that. I think that's fine. I like having these trees because they give a bit of shade, they give it a bit of height, which I always think is handy. I'm going to bring in some of these smaller ones. So I'm just going to bring in the smaller cherry there, and I'm going to do the same thing, if I can, just in this spot. I'm just going to take that by one and move it back a little bit. And then I think... What else have we got going on? I wonder if maybe we have like plaza trees just in front of this greenhouse. So kind of making it feel like it's what's the word I'm looking for? Flagging? Flanking. Flanking is the word I'm looking for, not flagging. Flanking the entrance. And I think that we could maybe do like, I don't know if we've got stepping stones. I don't want the snowy ones. I kind of wish we had these without snow on them. I know we've got the broken cobblestones, but they don't feel quite right either. I mean, we've got the rock rug, which might be the option. So maybe I just do... Yeah, maybe I just do something like... Where we go in? Somewhere like this? Actually, that's kind of cute. Just the one in front of it. And then do the same again over there. And then I can grab those trees. I do apologize for the big trees being in the way. I do get that they are kind of like interfering with the camera. I can always get rid of them while we finish the build. But I'll leave them for now. If it continues to get in my way, then we'll just get rid of them. But I think that looks super, super cute. I'm happy with that. And then we could always add some petals or something to the ground in this back corner. I'd love to do maybe maybe another one of these. Something like this. Maybe rotate it. Actually, that feels too... let me see what the bigger one looks like. I'm wondering actually maybe if it needs to be something like this coming over the water. That could be really nice. And then try and replicate something like that. It's hard to replicate it because you can't, you know. But actually, what if I do that? And then I do that. Something like that. Feels like it could work. That looks adorable. I like to use the same palette of stuff. Of course, you might have seen when I do builds like this, just because it ties everything together. So I don't like to use too much of different items or too many different items, too many different colors, too many different star paths, you know, all of that sort of stuff. Because I just feel like, it works better if everything is, I don't know, on a similar palette, I suppose. Don't know if I prefer that color or the purple color. I can't work out which one my preference is given what we've used so far. I think no, I think it's these because it's got the brighter pink in it. So I kind of wanted. No, I don't know what I wanted. I just kind of wanted this wheelbarrow just because I think it looks cute. That's pretty much the only reason. So I'm just gonna rotate it and drop it in. Aha! An issue. Let me move this back a little bit. If I put it on the point, can I put it on the point of this side? Oh, I can. Amazing. Excellent. What I'm going to do, I am going to move these trees. So I know that it sits in that gap, and I'm just going to move it without rotating it. That's going to make it easier for me to see this final bit. So I know that it sits in that gap. And it lets me get a slightly better bird's eye view without the canopy of the tree kind of falling in the way. I think maybe I'll rotate. Yeah, let's do that. Let's rotate. Can we fit you in? The wheel is just on the inside, just off the center. I think that will do if I can take it across by one. Actually, no. If I do that, and then I bring that across by one, I can get that there. Cool. And then, yeah, maybe on this back side, that's where we bring in that bigger one that kind of like sits right next to the greenhouse. Just like that. Ah, so cute, so cute, so cute. But I actually think I need another little one, sort of like in this space. So like where it has the gap, and then where it has the gap, just to bring the level down, because obviously this is quite spindly, I suppose. So I like this. This has been such a pleasant build. I don't often describe my builds as pleasant because they're often quite stressful for me, but this has actually been really, really nice to do. Just going to pop a little flower patch in, just one there. Let's see if we can actually get it in the same location. We can, look at that. Right by there. Maybe we'll pop another one on the side of the greenhouse. Can we fit one in over here? I think we can if I just tweak where that is. Get another little one in the middle. And then we can also bring in this nice big flowering shrub. I don't know where you might want to sit. Maybe just at the back. Yeah, let's just do it at the back corner. Something like that. And then I just wonder if I just bring one of those big giant trees down from the back. I may need to adjust this, and you may need to adjust this if you sort of like take this to be able to access the mining nodes. At the moment, you probably can't get to this one. But you can still get to 2 there. And then you can still get to 2 there. And it might just be this one. So yeah, if you want to leave a gap where you can run down the side and still get to the mining node, that would obviously make sense, and you're more than welcome to do that and adjust it if you want to. Just going to pop that in right behind the greenhouse again. That one's already in place. And I think we're very nearly there. The last few things that I want to do, I just want to add in some more of these stone lanterns. Just at various points. So I think maybe we do one Maybe we do one about there. And then possibly just on the inside of the... Actually, I don't think I need that one. Let's do them on the inside of those gates. And then they're just on the corners. And other than that, I think it's fine. So I'm just going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to do... If I can get rid of this branch, I'm just going to do it right on the inside. Like that. And I think the rest of it is fine, because I don't think I've got any lights that are kind of like... I don't know, that are kind of florally? The only ones I really have are the Wish Blossom... Well, actually, maybe this is what I should have gone with, the Wish Blossom ones, because I do have the pink ones, and I've got it's snowy. Okay. But I do have the white ones, and it has pink on the... Oh, wait, look, it matches Scrooge's. Oh, okay. Maybe I need to use these. Oh, but I really like the stone ones over here. Okay, that's fine. Let's do... In that case, let's get rid of these ones. So we'll keep the stone ones kind of in this central section. So did I get rid of that one? I did. I'm going to return that one. But I'm going to... Actually, no. I'll get rid of that one. I'll get rid of this one. This one. And these two. And let me find a way... Somehow, some way to get these in. So maybe we have one here. Maybe it's kind of like that. Or I could have it on the diagonal for this bit. Yeah, if I have it on the diagonal for there. Move it across by one. Make sure it's nice and tucked in. And then over this section, I can have one each side of here. Mostly because it just picks up that lovely color from Scrooge's store, the really nice wood that we've got going on. And then I could always have one here rotated slightly. Do the same thing over here. Ah, what a pain, I can't. It's gonna hit me. It's gonna hit me. That's fine. Let's just bring it down. Let me see if I can squeeze that in. No, definitely not. But I'll just put it on the corner and on the edge like that. So even though I can't have it in there, I'll just put it on the corner. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. I'm going to put one as well just on each edge at the end, just because there's nothing there. I just kind of want to add something to make it feel a little bit more lived in. And then maybe I just don't need one up here at all. Unless I center it with the path. But it doesn't feel quite right. It does not feel quite right. Let me get these back in place. So there was one here. One here. I'm out of those, so I can't use any more, even if I wanted to. But yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. And actually, I could bring in some of these stone ones. And still give the vibe, because it ties it all together. So let's actually put one of those by each entrance, just like that. Let's do that. And I'm going to bring that forward just by one. Actually, no, I think I like that back where it was. Move that back then, in that case. And then I'm just wondering, what foliage have I got? Still got this. I know I've used one of them already, but let's pop, if we can fit it, one of these just on like, just on the corner. And then we'll do the same thing over on this side, just on the corner like that. Did I have to bring that forward by one for it to be touching the edge? I did. And I guess we could always do like a little bloom pile next to it. That's kind of cute. Just like that. And then we can always bring in like some more of these loose ones just on the other side. There we go. Adorable. So cute. So cute. So cute. Okay. So the last thing that I'm just going to do is I'm going to bring in some of this beach grass. I'm just going to try and find a spot where I can pop it down here. Maybe about there. I'm just going to try and find a home for this in a couple of different locations. Let me move that flower out of the way. Because the nice thing about the beach grass is that it has height to it. So it just kind of like from ground level, it almost like blends. It blends, but it also gives dimension and height. But there was definitely one once upon a time that you could clip into something. At least I thought there was, but I may be misremembering. I just want to fit one. I don't know how, and I don't know where. But I need to move this flower up here. And then that means I can try and figure out where this one needs to go. There we go. Kind of like that. And then I think what we had one. Do we have one at the back? Where did I place it? There was one kind of down the side. But I don't think I'm going to be able to squeeze that in. Because that tree is very much in its own place. And the pond is there, so I'm not going to worry about putting one on this side. Not unless I can fit it in there, but it is definitely too big. I'm just going to move that tree back one. And then I think there was one underneath. Yeah, there's one underneath this side. So just kind of like anywhere you can fit it, about there. I'm not sure if there was one around the back. I don't think there was. There was just two on that side because you don't see the back, so I don't need to put anything down, but I think that looks good. And then the final thing, I'm just going to grab some of these and I'm going to grab them from the menu to make sure that they are infinite and they stay on my hand. I'm just going to go around and I'm just going to place just some more of these down. Even though there's no branches everywhere, that won't stop me. Maybe one just here, just kind of like peeking onto the path. I think that's kind of cute. Maybe one just there. Actually, no, I'll do the three. I'll do the three. Let's just do something like that. And then maybe one like on this bit of path. Maybe just one down the side. And then maybe just one in the middle as well. Just while we've got that space available. And other than that, I think, my friends, that should be just about it. Let me move these trees back down. Get those back in place. So, goodness, where was it? It was somewhere around here. Had to be somewhere around here. That's where it was. Wait, is it not going to let me do it with the cherry blossom on the floor? Let me grab that again. You were somewhere in amongst this. Are we going with there? Okay, we'll go with there. I'll do the same thing over here. Does look like that cherry blossom is an issue, so I'm gonna have to get rid of that. My mistake, I forgot that the trees were meant to go in there. And then that has a home just about there. And other than that, I'm just going to leave these sides clear. Nothing I kind of want to do with that, to be honest, down there. And I don't think there's anything I need to do down here either. I'm quite happy leaving that as it is. I guess the only other thing that I might do is I know that I've got a couple of these white flowers in my inventory, so maybe I'm just gonna plant these, for lack of a better term, so it kind of looks like they've been intentionally planted. We can just go around and pop a bunch of these in. Unfortunately, a lot of the flowers are very big footprints. They're like, I think they're 4x4, and some of those flowers are not big enough to be in a 4x4. It's wild, but a lot of them that were kind of like one tile on the old grid are now 2x2, so you can still find stuff. Oh, and that looks nice, doesn't it? That looks so intentional and nice. A nice little kind of like, I don't know, Georgian, Edwardian, Victorian, whatever sort of Orion you want to be. That looks good to me. So, okay, I think we're pretty much there, which means, do I want to do that? Do I want to bring it back? I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do it on the other side too. I'm going to put it just about there. All right, that's great. We are done with my spring / cherry blossom themed plaza. I absolutely love it. So I am going to give you a super quick walk-in tour and let's take a look. All right, so if we approach the plaza from the peaceful meadow, we've got this obviously lovely blooming gazebo. You can even see a little bit of the lanterns from the dream castle behind this, just off in the distance. And then, of course, we've got this water each side. I don't know if they're little rivers, little ponds, whatever they may be, little canals. I think they look cute and even cuter with the swan boats on them. But I really do love that section with the tree in just over there where it has the white flowers around it because it looks very intentionally planted, which I love. So you walk underneath this gazebo. No need for those stony benches anymore, but I did keep those lanterns. And then we come into really just the centerpiece of this, and I've placed some of those floating petals down that we got with this bundle, which actually look great in this plaza. We've got the gate opening to the beautiful well, and of course that cherry blossom dream castle skin looks absolutely fantastic. We've got all of our really nice foliage going on. We've got lots of pinks, lots of lilac-y type colors, just everything's very sweet. I love this branch just coming over the path as well. Before we get to Remy's, again with that nice cherry blossom skin on it. And then of course we've got some lighting. It's from Wish Blossom Ranch, but actually I think it works really well here because the wood goes and the colors do. Coming on around the corner, we've got this little like foliage section, and then we can see that tree area again. This might be my favorite bit. I know it's only small, but it just might be one of my favorite parts of this build, the way the water really just goes up against the edge of that small Edwardian fence. I just absolutely love it. And then of course we've got another swan boat, some more lovely foliage, that bridge, which is not really a bridge that we worked on, that goes over the water, and a nice little sapphire that goes down the edge to separate the plaza off. Coming back over, Max is going to go ahead and fetch all of those sticks. We've got some more water just to make it feel nice and natural. And then we've got that gorgeous greenhouse that you can actually go and sit in, which is very, very cute. And then we do have one of those on each side. Lovely little pond just to add to the water effect. We love some kinetic energy. Sounds lovely as well when the pond is running. the teapot giving us some water, and we've got those lights again with another fence. Onto the Plaza Square, where we've got lots and lots of different cherry blossom, all just sprawled all over the place with that absolutely stunning castle skin in the background. And then we come out the other side, and we have the same over here because I am a symmetrical girly. I love how it looks. I will not be dissuaded. Cinderella seems to be enjoying it as well. Such a lovely dream last night. I thought she was saying that this was a dream. Never mind. And then you can round this corner back to Scrooge's with all of those same elements in. But just on the whole, I absolutely love it. Let's take a quick look at night. Well, actually, even better than night, we can take a look in the evening because everything really comes alive. And there's just a beautiful evening glow to all of the buildings. There's a really lovely evening glow to just everything that has that pink tinge to it. And it's just bathed in that golden hour sunlight. The lanterns look fantastic. Everything just looks, it just looks really great. And those petals glow as well, which just makes it even cuter. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. Couldn't have gone better considering I had absolutely no plan whatsoever. But yeah. Very, very pleased. And even Lady's enjoying it. Look at that. All right, gang, that is it for this video and it for this build. I do hope that you enjoyed spending some time with me today. I do hope you enjoyed the build. Hope you enjoyed the whole process and, of course, the final product. If you did, let me know down in the comments below. I'm always eager to hear what you think about my builds. If you want to take anything, feel free. That is why I do it. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Disney Dreamlight Valley content. With all that being said, I will catch you in the next one, and I will of course see you in the valley.